Hello. So today I'm doing a revisit the basics. So what I'm doing is I'm going back to my primary Montessori where I learned rhymes, and I'm remembering this famous rhyme. Baba black sheep, have you any wool? Yes sir, 3 bags full. One for my master, one for my dame, one for the little boy who lives down the lane. And here's my interpretation of it. As relevant in today's world, when we are dealing with health, COVID, come to have us all rethink about what we have and what's there to preserve, what's there to protect, preserve, and prevent, so that we don't have to cure the way COVID is having us look at, and we are still looking for the cure of the malady that's come about. We each make something through the day, even if it's just cooking a meal or writing something or thinking about or working on our accounts or just breathing. And each of it is in one way or the other maintaining our health, maintaining a relationship between us and the world, between us and all that there is. We are making something by which to sustain, by which to continue to be amongst the living, by which to make things better. Now, each of this is from a ground of we don't know, the black, yeah? We know that we are standing on the ground, but we don't know what is exactly there in the future. We are facing uncertainty. So that's like the black sheep. And what we produce is the wool. Everything, it's more like we are all part of a whole, right? We are all living beings. So I'm connecting our experience with the rhyme, and we are all like sheep. We are moving towards becoming better. We are moving towards what we don't know, but where we believe life sustains, where we believe things will be better, that we would be guided. We are guided, though we don't know everything about it. So that's the unknown black. And what we produce is the wool. What the wool is, whatever we produce. It could be a dish we make, something we write, something we think about to make things better. So whatever we produce, we produce it for 3 people. One is for our ancestors, from whom life came to us. That is, so you may call that as a master. It may be our parents, it may be our grandparents, it may be the world at large, from where we receive the goods and materials, from where we find ways by which to be amongst the living, to do things by which to sustain life. So those are our masters in that sense, our ancestors, or everything that is known, that has been there in existence, while we come to greater and greater realization of what we are and what we have. So everything that is already there as known would be the master. Yeah? Because from there comes life. From there comes material sources, information, resources. Yeah, I've said that. From which we make things. Like the raw material comes from what already is. And from what already is, we make things. Yeah? So what already is as raw material is a master. Yeah? And then one for my master, one for my dame is, now each of us is male or female. Yeah? Now, our dame is our partner. If you're our counterpart, I'm a female, so the counterpart is the male, the masculine. If it's male, then the feminine is a counterpart. If we are from the gender spectrum, then what is other than us? Yeah, other than what we are, as a complementary counterpart would be the dame as a spouse. Yeah, as a partner. It may not necessarily be spouse, but it can be just partner. But it's more like the yin and yang. Yeah, they are always related. The white is related with the black, and black is related with the white. So what is the, you can't really call this antonym, but it's also more like a corresponding correspondence. Yeah. So that would be the dame. So what you're making is for what you are as a known and your complementary partner. And then one for the little boy who lives down the lane. Who lives down the lane is also a walk in time, the future. There's a little boy, there's a little child who's yet to be born, or is in the way of, looking to come to life, or is alive and hasn't yet seen the future, hasn't yet experienced what we are experiencing, or what we think is worthy of living and experiencing. So that's a little boy down the lane who is coming to discover what life is, who's who's still pretty fresh, yeah, and for whom also we make things. When we make things, be it food or what we write or anything that we make today, in the hopes of making, in the hopes of a better future, we make from for the source from where our raw material comes, from where we make things. One for our neighbor, our contemporaries. They are also our partners. We are living together. I live, you live too. But in dynamics that you may not be familiar with, but as a fact of coexistence, is partnering, is our co-travelers with us. So we make for them too. And then we make one, and we also make for who's coming in the future. So it's for three people that whatever we make, we need to take into consideration in making the future a better place, a future a better experience than what it is now. Because each of us are in our own ways making something. Yeah, even if it's food, even if it's just breathing, we are doing things to sustain life, to have to protect, preserve, and prevent, so that we don't have to cure, like how we are looking for a cure for the COVID right now. Yeah. So the COVID is a good reminder on what COVID, you can also call it in some form as death, who's reminding us about life, that the life that we need to remember and protect and preserve. So you may see COVID as a message from nature in the form of death, reminding us about life. So how do we preserve and protect life? Is by protecting, preserving, and preventing slippages, these common grounds from which to be and become. Because when we forget them, then we have to look for cure, like how we are having to search for an unknown cure for COVID as is present right now. Right now, we may even find a vaccine for this, or we may find a solution for this. But the fact remains that there are things we don't know about. Yeah? And what do we do to protect, preserve, and prevent, so that we don't have to look for cures? Is by protecting, preserving our common grounds, so that we don't have to find cures. So the more and more we are looking at not having to look for cures, we are preserving, we are preventing another disaster in our own experience of living, or something that may disturb our equilibrium. So, happy rhymes. Montessori times. Basics. This is basics, but something that makes life better. Thank you for listening.